On my birthday, my husband handed me a set of keys to an apartment I had never seen before. At first, I thought it was perfect. Too perfect. That was my first mistake, because later that day, when I went there alone, something felt off. Not obvious, not dramatic, just quiet in a way that didn't feel right. Then, just as I was about to leave, there was a knock on the door. An older woman stood there, looking at me like she already knew something I didn't. "Tonight," she whispered, "go to the window." I should have ignored her, but I didn't. It started like something out of a perfect moment. My birthday wasn't supposed to be anything big that year. Just dinner. Something simple, the kind of quiet celebration we had gotten used to. So when my husband handed me a small box across the table, I was already surprised. Inside it was a set of keys. At first, I didn't understand. "Go see it," he said with a smile. "See what?" I asked. "Our place," he replied. That word stayed with me. Our. Not a vacation spot. Not an investment. Ours. I laughed a little, thinking he was joking. But he wasn't. "It's yours," he said. I wanted to do something special. And it was special. A full apartment, in a part of the city we had talked about once or twice but never seriously considered. Everything about it felt thoughtful. Planned. Almost too planned. I looked at him, trying to read something in his expression. "Why didn't you tell me?" "I wanted it to be a surprise," he said quickly. Maybe that was true. But something about the way he avoided my eyes, just for a second, made me pause. Not enough to question it. Just enough to notice. Still, I smiled. Thanked him. Because that's what you do in moments like that. You accept the gift. Even if something about it feels just slightly out of place. I went there the same afternoon. I didn't tell him. Not because I was hiding anything, just because I wanted to see it on my own first. The building was quiet. Not abandoned. Not empty. Just still. The kind of stillness that makes every small sound feel louder than it should. The hallway lights flickered slightly as I walked toward the door. Nothing dramatic. Just enough to make me notice. I unlocked it slowly. The door opened without resistance. Inside, everything was exactly as he had described. Clean. Minimal. Fully furnished. But untouched. That was the first thing I noticed. It didn't feel lived in. It felt prepared. Like someone had set it up carefully, but never stayed long enough to leave anything behind. I stepped inside, closing the door behind me. The air felt different. Not cold. Just quiet in a way that didn't feel natural. I walked through each room slowly. Kitchen. Living area. Bedroom. Everything was in place. Two in place. Even the smallest details looked intentional. Arranged. As if someone had thought about exactly how it should look. But not how it should feel. That's when it hit me. This didn't feel like a gift. It felt like something waiting. I was about to leave when I heard the knock. Soft. But clear enough that it didn't feel accidental. For a second, I stood still, listening. No footsteps in the hallway. No voices. Just silence. And then another knock. I walked toward the door slowly, my hand hovering over the handle for a moment before I opened it. An older woman stood there. She looked at me, not surprised, not confused, just certain. Like she had expected to see me. "Can I help you?" I asked. She didn't answer right away. Her eyes moved past me, into the apartment, taking in the space like she already knew it. Then she looked back at me. "You're staying here tonight?" she asked quietly. It wasn't a question. More like confirmation. "I just got the place," I said. "Why?" She stepped a little closer, lowering her voice. "Don't turn on the lights tonight," she said. I frowned slightly. "What?" "And don't ignore the window," she added. "You need to see it." "See what?" She hesitated. For the first time, her certainty wavered just a little. "What you'll see isn't meant for everyone," she said. That didn't make any sense. "Wait, what are you talking about?" But she was already stepping back. "I shouldn't have come," she murmured. Then she turned and walked away down the hallway. Just like that. No explanation. No clarity. Just a warning that didn't belong to anything normal. I stood there for a moment longer, staring at the empty hallway. Then I slowly closed the door. And for the first time since I arrived, I didn't feel alone anymore. I told myself I wasn't going to stay. That I would leave, go home, and forget everything that woman had said. Because none of it made sense. But I didn't leave. Something about the way she spoke, the certainty in her voice, stayed with me. So I waited. I didn't turn on the lights. I didn't move much either. I just sat there, in the quiet, watching the room slowly shift as the daylight faded. The apartment felt different at night. Heavier. Like the silence had settled into something more solid. I checked my phone more than once. Thought about calling my husband. But I didn't. Because I didn't even know what I would say. That I stayed because of a stranger's warning? That something felt wrong in a place he had just given me? No. I stayed quiet. And waited. Eventually, the room went dark enough that the window became the only thing visible. A reflection at first. My outline. The faint shape of the furniture behind me. Then something shifted. Outside, across the street. Another building. One window. Directly aligned with mine. And inside it, light. Soft. Steady. I moved closer without thinking. Just enough to see more clearly. And that's when I noticed it. The angle. The position. The way that window lined up perfectly. With this one. Like they were meant to face each other. And then, something moved on the other side. At first, I thought it was just someone moving around. A shadow. Nothing unusual. But then it stopped. Right in front of the window. Facing directly toward me. I couldn't see their face clearly. Just the outline. Still. Watching. And that's when something clicked. This wasn't random. That window, that exact angle. It wasn't coincidence. It was intentional. I stepped back slowly, my mind catching up to what I was seeing. Then I looked around the apartment again. At the furniture. At the placement of the couch. At the way everything seemed arranged around one single point. The window. This entire place had been set up to be seen from the outside. My chest tightened slightly as the realization settled in. This wasn't just a gift. It was a setup. A space designed to be watched. And suddenly, the warning made sense. The silence. The untouched feeling. The precision of everything inside. I reached for my phone and called my husband. He answered on the second ring. "Hey," he said casually. "Did you see it?" I didn't respond right away. Instead, I asked one question. Why does that window face directly into this one? There was a pause. Long enough to feel wrong. Then he said something that confirmed everything. It was supposed to. I didn't say anything after that. I just ended the call. Slowly, carefully, like any sudden movement might make everything feel more real than it already did. The apartment was still quiet. But now, it wasn't just quiet. It felt exposed. I stepped back from the window, pulling the curtain across it without looking again. Not because I was scared, but because I understood. This wasn't about a gift. It wasn't about surprise or generosity. It was about control. About placing me somewhere I hadn't questioned, until it was too late. I grabbed my keys and left that night. Didn't pack anything. Didn't turn back. Some answers don't need more time. They just need distance. And as I walked out of that building, one thing was clear. Not everything that looks like a new beginning is meant to be one.